Hello everyone. Have you ever spent time wondering what the basic requirements of a good gate are? Well, probably not. But maybe you should, since John talks in the reading that we're going to look at on Sunday about Jesus as a gate or a gatekeeper. And maybe that gets us thinking about what makes things, not just gates, work. Take a book, for example, a physical book. It's remarkably easy to work out what's important about a book, isn't it? All you need is that the pages will turn reliably when you move them. Or when it comes to lamps, all we're looking at is really that they turn on or off, whether manually or using a remote control or through a request to Alexa. These are basic functions, easily explained to anyone in a library or the household appliance department of John Lewis, aren't they? Mind you, you might get a strange look or two if, when asked, maybe you could tell me a little bit about what you're looking for in the book or this lamp. When you say, well, all I need is that the pages of the book turns or that lamp turns off and on. That's what I need. These are the basic functions, aren't they? Whether it be book, lamp. Well, what about a gate? What about a door? You might say, well, the basic function of a gate is oiled hinges to open or shut or to swing on. But a moment's thought, and you might add that the function of a gate or a door might be to allow you to enter in or out of a space, or even to be closed into the space. Maybe for protection, or sleeping, or eating, or to carry out car maintenance, or a hobby like painting, maybe even to enjoy your model railway. So just where and why are gates or doors important in your life? And what makes them important? What do you expect of them? Has anybody ever asked you that before? What would you say if someone did? What do gates do in your life, and how are they controlled? Who or what is the gatekeeper? Now, if you're a farmer, maybe they're important in your work for the control of animals. But what about in your personal life? How do gates work? What do they allow you to access? It's quite a bit, I suspect, when you think about it. Doors or gates are important parts of all of our lives, I'm sure. Not just for us now, though, but throughout all history. So maybe we shouldn't be surprised when we read John's comments in his Gospels about how Jesus sees himself as a gate or a gatekeeper. But as a gatekeeper, Jesus is also the shepherd of the sheep. And remember, we are the sheep. And this week our Sunday worship will tease out in more detail some of what Jesus says and maybe what he means when he asks us to consider these three sheep-related pictures of how Jesus works: the shepherd, the gate, and the gatekeeper. What John explores for us is the marvelously close relationship between shepherd and sheep. It's a relationship based on the trust that the sheep show the shepherd. The trust we show Jesus that depends on the sacrifice from that shepherd. And not just the loss of sheep at night, but a personal sacrifice as the sacrificial lamb of the Passover, which is how John describes Jesus' death at the end of Holy Week. This relationship of gatekeeper and shepherd is built on the idea that Jesus has the same relationship to us as Jesus has to God the Father. And tremendous as though that thought is, there is more to it. It is a personal relationship. Jesus isn't just interested in all people or all nations as groups. Jesus is interested in each of us as individuals within those groups. Jesus is interested in you as he is in me. And our relationship is based on our experience. Yes, we the sheep hear and recognize the voice of the gate, the gatekeeper, and the shepherd, Jesus. But Jesus, the gate, the gatekeeper, and the shepherd, know each sheep, that is, each of us, by name, which means that he knows us deeply. And that's a tremendously reassuring idea, isn't it? But here's the thing to ponder before Sunday. This close relationship is not just encouraged by everyone in the story. We're not just urged to think about it. When you read the story, Everyone just simply assumes it happens. When John writes about Jesus meeting that day the people that he spoke to, he doesn't for one moment think that even when we, the sheep, are worried, confused, or uncertain, that we might confuse the voice of the shepherd, gate, or gatekeeper with anyone else. It's just assumed that we will always recognize him. This does seem such a reassuring story for us today, doesn't it? But those who heard it originally, that crowd around Jesus one day, found it difficult teaching for them to hear. And John tells us that those who heard this conversation were divided. There were different opinions. How does that make you feel this Lent as you look around your friends in the world? Because how we see the way people react to our community tells us something about how we live. As we all start to move slowly out of lockdown, is everyone listening to advice, or do we find ourselves impatient? And how do you think we should progress back to normal over the next few months? How do you think we should progress as we listen to the voice of the gate, the gatekeeper, and the shepherd, to Jesus, whose relationship with us is the same as his relationship with God? So join us for worship live on Facebook or YouTube on Sunday at 10:30. The Bible reading is taken from John's Gospel, chapter 10, verses 1 to 21. And you can read it on Bible Gateway, or you'll hear it read on Facebook or the website on Saturday. It'll also be available to read or listen to directly before we start worship on Sunday. I'm thankful to all who have helped prepare this week's service. Music this week will be provided by John Montgomery, who will be singing 2 songs, one of which, Grace and Blessing, is his own composition. Muriel will be playing the East Church organ as the Bible is brought in, and she'll also accompany Jennifer in Jesus, Thou Joy of Loving Hearts. Ruth will play us out with a lovely arrangement of Through the Love of God Our Saviour. And 4 of our musicians have joined digitally to provide a recording of The Lord's My Shepherd, complete with descant. So it's going to be a great time of worship this Sunday. But as we look forward to next week, remember too that Melanie will be sharing some thoughts with us on Monday morning through Facebook, and Grant will share the next instalment of our Lent Wednesday break based on the book Living His Story by Hannah Steele. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Sunday through Facebook or YouTube at 10:30 a.m. The service will be recorded as it always is and be available through our website later on Sunday afternoon.